Oli Olis, hi. Welcome to That's a Dude in a Dress podcast. I'm Jose, also known as Jose Juan.
Hi guys, it's Melissa.
So we're gonna have a true crime story for you, and we thought we would do it for Mother's Day. The only thing is, I feel like there's so many details to this story that we're not fully ready. It does take a while to get all these notes because as we get everything goes up and down, and we're
Yeah.
like, oh, did you get this and did you get that?
Yeah.
And so we're sharing notes because we're working on this, of course, together. So we just figured we would like to do a Mother's Day just on its own podcast. I know that I grew up with only one mother and one grandmother and one aunt. So I grew up with nothing but women. I've said this time and time again, is that I grew up as, it almost felt like a single parent, right? And so there was no male figure. Don't get into this with the gay thing, girl. Just, I'm gay, okay? And so
It would have been gay regardless. is
you're
what I'm
gay.
saying.
It's what I'm trying to say. Super gay. And so I kind of wanted to share moments of the good and the bad, right?
We'll do the good. Because I
Okay.
know we've discussed why, growing up, why we're...
The way we are.
Exactly. So I think the good.
And I feel like it does showcase, like a lot of people, I get this on my live, is that the first question I get asked is, who's your inspiration? I get this almost in every single life.
For your characters, yeah.
Yes, is that because they're all mostly women.
Yeah.
Dora, Barbie, Paula, the granddaughter, the best friends, the two girls. And I get it, it's the perspective of a guy, right?
Yes.
But the reality is, it's the only perspective I know. I know what it's like to be around women. I know their perspective. Yes, I have my own, like, they know if they're going to text me, for example, don't expect a paragraph.
Oh, yeah.
Straight, this is the guy in me. I'm like, okay, see ya. Sure. Oh,
That's why I'm always short
yep.
with him. I hate lengthy anything. I hate lengthy conversations on the phone either way. So I rather have the conversations in person. That's
Pero
me.
me corta el conversation. Hijo, she's horrible. She could call me. She's like, hey, did you know
blah,
so
blah.
blah, 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 blah. Okay, bye.
Dude.
Doesn't, like, she hates to end conversations. Okay, bye. And she just hangs it up. I'm like,
And he's like, okay.
I feel like a puta. You know, like, you get the money's right there in the dresser. I'm like, damn,
done.
girl.
I'm done.
I'm picking up my bro. Ay, vámonos. Get up and get dressed, get out. So yeah, it's one of those things. But I have nothing like my sisters who were single parents for just a little bit, and now they have their partners. One of them had their partners since she was little. She was young, but I feel like it does tell us. Look, Melly, of course, is a single parent.
Melissa.
Sorry, you don't like Melly? Oh, okay, my bad. Issues. I stop.
Or Mel.
Or
I know
Mel.
a lot of people call me Mel, but I'm like, all right, I'm already over it.
I know. I'm the same way. I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like Juan.
Well, I mean, your name isn't Juan.
Well, it's not. But that's all because people hear the second name last.
Yeah.
So they're like Jose, not Juan, and they're like, Juan, ¿cómo estás? My name's Jose.
That's why I'm like, because Mel is now a name, and it's also a male's name. So I'm like, no.
Melly?
No,
And
Mel. Mel.
No, but Melly.
Mel. I just don't. I don't know. I don't like it.
You just don't like it. Okay. And I never call you that.
I know
It
that's
just
what
came
it's
out.
like. No,
I always say Melissa.
he's not. You're not Angel.
No, mamona. So I think we want to discuss the good, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a story when you were younger, a good one about your mom.
Well, my mom, it was like I said, not the greatest relationship, but this is where I learned to be strong. This is where I learned that I could be a single parent and I could raise my kids on my own, because my mom was a single parent herself at a young age. She was 15 when she had me, and raised 7 kids kind of on her own. Of course, she had a village, but for the most part, it was on her own. So that's where I learned to be the strong, independent woman that I am today and able to raise my children on my own because I watched her do it.
But I feel like you take it into this other level. Like she's extremely doesn't even like to bother people.
My mom or myself? Oh no, I don't. Yeah.
It could be her mother, and I'm like, just ask her.
Yeah.
That's her job as a grandmother.
And my mom won't say no. As a grandmother, she is fantastic. I mean, anything
Well, they say they're gonna mess up with the kids, right?
Yeah, as anything I would ask her, she would do. My kids ask her, she does. So yeah, I don't know. It's that I guess it's that fighter in me that I wanna accomplish things, so I'm gonna do it on my own.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't know why I've put that perspective in my head. But it's just, I don't like to ask for help. I really don't.
I don't mind asking for help. Because I think it's one of those things. You still didn't tell me a story though, a nice story.
My mom?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess because it's
there's got to be one. Damn, you said the nice.
You know
stuff.
what? Honestly, I think it was her. This is where you saw that regardless of how much she didn't have money, we were always downtown. We were always at the Kmart downtown. She always had stuff on layaway, like, hey, go pick your stuff out. We're gonna, shop for either back to school or whatever it was. Go get your shoes, so on and so forth. So going downtown and having those, like, I guess trips, because my mom didn't know how to drive at the time. So we were always on the bus. We were always downtown. Was, I guess, just that time of shopping and, here you go. Everything's on layaway. We'll take it out. We'll make payments, whatever. And she always came through with that. It was never like, oh, I lost it, or I'm sorry, you could. No, she always came through with those big bags and on the bus when she was done paying for it. We would be like, oh shit, here we go. So yeah.
Afraid you're gonna get as they say, jacked or right?
Yeah.
Ew, I was always like that.
But now we were straight up hood. We live in the courts, so
yeah, we
were ready to fight.
I feel like
I would say it's that one, all the trips to downtown.
That's a nice one. Do you remember Solo Serve?
Yes.
Right, we're close to the Payless.
So we went to downtown. Sorry, quick story.
Yeah.
We went to downtown real quick, and we saw the building where Jose had his first job. And I was like, take a picture, you have a story, whatever. And as we were walking, I was like, Churches used to be here, and Crest used to be here, and you said Solo Serve used to be here. And it was like, it's
and
just
the reason
crazy.
we were doing that is because we were looking for a venue for my birthday.
Yeah.
Dinner. And we were downtown. We went to go look at Acenar.
There was a bunch that we went into.
We went to a couple
Landry's or something like that.
We went to a few, like three places. And we were gonna go to more, but it was a hot day, right?
It was hot.
Were like,
and I had to leave.
Muggy.
Yeah. It was like, we weren't prepared.
She always has to leave.
We weren't prepared. I got kids. I wasn't. We weren't prepared to go walking.
No,
you weren't.
No, not like that. I was already like, I don't want to go down there. Yeah. I'm already frustrated.
Yeah, it was hot.
Because I always think of it like I know it's my birthday. Excuse me. I know it's my birthday, but I think of it as from a girl's perspective, like if they're wearing heels.
Oh yeah.
I don't want them to go because I grew up with nothing but women.
Yeah.
So I know that we went to one where you had to park close to across from the museum, cross that, go through like this little dark trail, and then go around the building, and there's a restaurant. And I was like, by the time they get here,
and then you're gonna start, because it's little bricks, but there's little, I guess,
like cracks in between.
Crack. And nombre de heels. I thought the same thing. I was like, their heels are gonna get stuck. I don't wear heels, but a lot of his friends do. So I was like, yeah, no, this is not a good idea. Luckily, you said no.
No, and that's the reason. So we were walking around downtown before that.
So it just brought up a lot of
good memories.
Yeah, a lot of good memories.
And you know what's funny is that wasn't my first job. That was my second job.
Oh, was it?
That was my second job, but to me, it was my first in the sense of it was a legit job.
Okay.
My first job was working at a Spanish telemarketing, where commercials, the commercials would happen, and they would be like, if you call right now, you would get a Rosario with your blah, blah, blah. If you just donate. And so I would answer that. And it was right across the same. Anyway, it was across a club that's still going on. Not the same, but there's a few other ones at the Strip.
Yeah, at the Strip.
But we were talking about it, and it was good memories, right?
Yeah, very, yeah. I said Southwestern Bell used to be here, and your friend Chris was like, what?
It's
I was
'cause
like,
Chris
it's
is yeah.
AT&T now, but yeah.
Chris
people-
is almost like 7 years younger than us.
Oh,
6
okay.
years
I didn't
younger
know
than
how
us.
old he was, but when I was telling him, he
Yeah.
was just like, what is that?
I mean,
was
he's
like,
younger, a little bit younger than
It's
us.
AT&T now, but it was Southwestern Bell then.
Yeah.
Yeah, people hustling, bustling out of there in their suits and ties and stuff. So, yeah. Good memories.
There were good memories. I had my mom was, well, if you without going into, because I've done this before, the song and dance is that she was a drug user and would shoplift from stores, not from her friends' houses, but from stores, right? But so we were downtown, we were in different malls all the time. We would go even to Dallas and Houston, and they would do all. They would go because they got to know my mom too much in the city that
Oh, okay.
she would have to venture out sometimes. Well, so I got to see all these malls and so forth. But I remember because I have different ones, right? My tia, my grandmother, my aunt, and my mom was one of my favorite memories of her. It wasn't, I had never seen my mom go somewhere looking exquisite. And most of the time, she was always dressed like she was going to get ready to go to the stores, right? So it was okay. It was nice because she didn't want to look like, she wanted to look nice. She wanted to
She didn't
play
wanna
the
look
part,
obvious,
right?
yeah.
Obvious.
Yeah.
And so she wasn't always dressed like that. She never got like a boda, you're going to a boda. She never,
To a 15.
yes, exactly. She would, but it would just wasn't pretty. But one time she got a dress from the stores, and it was this beautiful blue or green. You know how your mind plays games with you thinking it's whatever, but I want to say it was a blue sequence dress. And it fit her. I mean, how she took that sequence dress on that plus size woman, I have no idea. She wasn't plus size at that time, but she was a little thinner. Well, she put it on, and her boyfriend at the time took her out, and they went out.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't watching her get ready. I was in the living room, but I remember she turned the corner, and she just looked exquisite. I had never seen my mom in a dress like that before, and we were all, wow, Mom, you look beautiful. And I don't remember how her hair was. All I remember is just her coming out radiant and just, it was nice to see her the way I always saw her, meaning at her true best. And you couldn't tell her she didn't look fabulous that night, Amy. She walked out and she was like, are you sure? Of course, my older sister was taking care of us. And so she was like, make sure they go to sleep, blah, 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 yada, yada. Okay, we're going to go. And I watched her leave, and I was like, wow, she looked marvelous, honey. And it was a nice memory that I will always have of my mom. So I will always remember that blue sequence dress. So it was really nice. Other than her being funny, I never saw her dressed up. And so when I did a couple of my shows, it kind of triggered that. When I did the stand-up shows in LOL, I was in a sequin dress, but it was a blue dress. And,
the blue one and the black one.
And the black ones and so forth. And it triggered that memory of that.
Oh, the blue one.
Yes. And I was like, oh, my mom, when she got dressed. It was just a nice memory. So it was one of those moments that I will always cherish. Anyway.
I wish I would have met your mom and your grandma. I really would. Because even though we were friends, we met each other when we were like, in juniors. I wasn't really close to Jose, so I didn't get to meet his mom and his grandmother. So I wish I would have.
One of my friends, Rosa, got to meet my grandmother. I think my mom as well.
I think so.
Yeah, my mom, she did.
Yeah, because y'all were closer at that time.
My other best friend, Bianca, she met my mom. And it was so weird. They had a relationship where they would converse with each other to talk to me.
Okay.
It was I had this odd relationship with my mother as well.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay.
So
That makes sense. Makes sense.
it was hard. She thought it was going to be a certain way. I thought it was going to, it was
Yeah.
just,
Makes
I was
sense.
young.
Yeah.
So my grandma, my best friend has that kind of connection. It wasn't always the best of, she never disrespected my mom, and my mom never
yeah.
disrespected Bianca. But I guess because she knew how highly I kept her. Like anybody that's around me knows how much I highly respect my best friends. And no matter what it is, if they don't like you, I don't like you. I don't care if you're nice.
He does do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't have to.
No, I
but he's
I'm
like,
very
nah, they ain't your
devoted.
friend. They ain't my friend.
They're
I was
not
like,
my friends.
Okay.
I don't care if they were so sweet to me. I don't give a fuck. They're out. I'm out.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't even need an excuse. I don't like me either. I'm blocking them already.
He has done that. I was like, no, you don't got to do that. You don't got to do that.
Not me. I'm like, well, too bad. I already did it. But it's because I want my devotion is to my family, and they're my family. So, but I had. You don't have any other like good ones about your mom?
I would say maybe as a grandmother.
Oh, okay.
She shows up to.
She's still your mother, but that
well, I know, but like, because those are the bigger ones for me growing up. But as you know, my kids got older, and especially with my son when he graduated, I would say my mom was my ride or die when it came to the kids being in extracurricular activities. Like my son was in football, he played all the sports up until high school. But yeah, she was involved. She was at every game. She was involved in everything that we did senior year, like everything. I'm like, hey mom, we gotta go do this for my son. Hey mom, we gotta go do this for, so it's, hey mom, and she was there. Hey mom, can you make, because my mom is also creative. So she's able to make like corsages or the, what do you call it? The garters, huh?
The corsages are on the hand, right?
No, not, well, it could also be the moms or corsages. Like sometimes when they do, yeah,
okay.
when you do it for like baby showers and stuff.
Okay.
Or the garters. I mean, every time I say, hey, every year she made one for my son, even though he didn't want to wear it. She made a mum for my daughter when my daughter did the, sometimes they'll have like the junior cheerleading, whatever thingy that they have, and they'll have the little girls out there for, I guess it's one of the big games that they had, and it was against, I'll say the schools. It was against Lanier and Burbank. So yeah, my daughter had a little like different color one because she was, even though she was doing it for Burbank, she was, my son was playing for Lanier. So yeah, so it's all those creative things that she does, and anytime I can call her and she's there, like, okay, when do you need it by? Okay, let me go look and see if I can find it in storage. So it's those things that I'm like, man, that's where it reminds me of my grandmother, because that's where she got the trait from, of being able to do, being able to do that. Because my grandma, for Mother's Day, she would sell like the little flowers, and you know how red means you used to have your mom, white means you don't, and so she would sell all of that. So those are the bigger memories as an adult.
Yeah,
would be anytime I call her, she's there. Even if it was like I'm not very good at home and anything that I need to fix, and I call my mom, she's like, okay, I'll go fix it for you. Okay, I'll go fix it for you. I mean, now I'm like, I don't do it as much because I'm like, okay, I got to learn how to do this.
Or your stepdad.
Or my stepdad, yeah, even he comes in and does like the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
But I want me and my son to learn, so it's both of us trying to fix things, like the minor things. So yeah, I say as an adult, it'd be her being my ride or die when it comes to my kids.
And I love that about it. It's those relationships that I feel like I see this. There is so Bianca's mom is a sweetheart.
She's so sweet. I've met her a few times and she's so sweet.
Very kind woman.
Yes.
Doesn't have an angry bone in her body. Even if she does, it's very minimal that you're like, okay, that's fine. Like, hijo, que me pongo enojado. I get so into this. One time she wanted to learn, you know how those are her daughters and they're going to get frustrated. She wanted to be on social media.
Oh, she did?
She already had Facebook, but she wanted to be on Instagram and didn't know how to work it. And she's older, right?
Yeah. Facebook is like the new thing for them. because now older people are getting on it, and I had tias and tios, and I didn't have them before. So Instagram is a little bit more.
It's trickier because it's a younger crowd.
Yeah, it's a younger crowd.
And I had to, like, I was explaining to her, and of course, one of the twins was like, Mom, just leave it alone. And then Bianca said, Mom, you're fine. You don't need to learn that. And I said, let's go to the room. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the room by ourselves, and I will teach you what it is. And I was like, she's trying to learn something. Mm-hmm. At least her brain is like, hey, let's do something different.
Yeah. Because when it comes to technology, older people,
and they still don't.
They don't, yeah. Because even I have to help my mom too, and I forget how old my mom is because we're 15 years apart. So I never. It was always like she's young, and now that she's getting older, I don't realize it, and I gotta stop and remember.
And I think that's why I was like, hold on,
yeah,
because. I love spending time with her. She's just a good. I like picking on her too, though.
You pick on any and everybody.
Yeah, I do. That's my love language.
Yeah, you gotta have those comebacks with him, because you'll be like,
not with her. I wouldn't.
I know not with her, but like,
I
you gotta have that thick skin with Jose, because
Oh yeah. But I remember I helped her with how to get her in and explain, like, this is more at the time. This is years ago, a couple of years ago. And at the time, they weren't doing reels like that.
Yeah.
They were just doing mostly
just uploading
pictures. Yeah, photos. And I was like, this is mostly photos, and you tap and blah, 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 and this is how you do it. Mm-hmm. And got her on, and I was like, look, this is how you could do this.
Yeah, because it started off as photos, just photos, right? You couldn't write anything. They didn't even have stories at the time.
No, you didn't. You didn't have all that. Now you have where it's competing with TikTok,
the others,
and so forth. Yeah. But I feel like it to me, that was a moment that I was like, okay, well, at least it was just me and her. Mm-hmm. And we got to just have, sit down. Mm-hmm. Like, I've had moments where just a little sad part of it. So my best friend and I have lost two mutual friends. Mm-hmm. And we happened to find out, one of them was when we were there, well, three, I should say. Two, we were there by her mom's house.
Oh, okay.
And so she's seen me at my worst, and my tears and my crying and devastated, and how clingy we get with each other. I do. Mm-hmm. Bianca gets very like stale, and she cries a lot. Girl, she could cry at a moment's notice. But anytime that happens, we just cling on and start crying. Like, we know that it's okay, and we just cry. And she's seen us at those moments. And I love the fact that I'm comfortable enough to not be distant with them. Mm-hmm. Like, that's something that she makes me comfortable with, and I love her for that. And I feel like that's my mom.
Yeah.
That's my second mom, is that she makes me feel that comfortable. I don't visit her that much, but that's the bad part about me. It's not her. She's older. They don't drive. But it makes me feel super comfortable.
You're not a visitor.
No. I was when I was younger. Now that I'm older, I love being in my own house. Y aquí me quedo y todo, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's those moments. Now, I have one where with my grandmother, my grandma had these moments. And I think we'll switch, because I know you have one you have plenty. Because we were just raised by our grandmothers.
We were raised by our grandmothers, yes.
And so it was easy for us to have
those
tons of them.
Yeah, they just start flowing.
Tons of them. Yeah. I remember I had one with my grandmother. I've mentioned this one. It was on my birthday. And she knew how to make you feel, with all the kids, because there was 6 siblings, how to make you feel special. Mm-hmm. And anytime she went to the grocery store, she always bought us separately what we liked. Mm-hmm. She knew I loved chocolate milk. She knew my sister liked pink milk. She knew the other one liked Doritos, the blue bag. She knew the other, she just got us all separate things. Mm-hmm. But one time during my birthday, July 1st, so she can't be now. And she said, you know what? Go get dressed. And it wasn't even the quince one, because I had a quince one, kind of.
You did?
She asked me if I wanted a quinceañero. And that was very progressive of my grandmother for asking for if I wanted a quinceañero.
I know, because they weren't really,
they weren't a thing back then.
Yeah, they really weren't.
They were scarce. Like
Yeah.
if you wanted it, you got it.
Got it, but it was kind of like circular.
Exactly.
Only certain people.
You were
came.
kind of made fun of if you did.
Yeah. Yep.
But she one year she just said, "Go get dressed. We're gonna go somewhere." I said, "Okay." And I thought it was like my siblings and I got dressed, got ready, went to. She took us to Luby's. And Luby's, if you grew up poor in the West Side, you know that Luby's was a luxury. It was, wow, we're going to Luby's. Wow, she got money. Well, my grandmother got me to Luby's. I got whatever I wanted. We sat down. I know exactly which table to in the West Side one. Like,
too bad it's closed down now.
I know but it's okay. It's the memories you get to take.
Yeah.
And I sat down. Of course, she sat across from me. And as we're eating, I was just elated because it was just me and her, nobody else. And she sat down across from me and she handed me lottery tickets and she said, "Whatever you win, it's yours." And I was like, "No, we'll get it together, Grandma." And blah, blah, blah. You know how when you're kids, you're whatever.
Like, oh my God, yeah.
Yes, and I did win, and then she didn't. No, that's yours. She cashed it in and for me.
How much did you win? Do you
remember? Like 50. Yeah, that's big. Back then, yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, "Grandma, you don't want money? Like, yeah, let's fucking this and this." She was like, "No, I don't want anything." She was so good about, I will find the solutions for us, for bills, for rent, everything. Don't worry about that. Even when I worked. But I'll never forget how she made me feel at that moment.
Yeah.
And she made me feel special, and she made me feel seen. And when she made me feel seen in a sea of 6 kids, it's hard.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I always felt like when I was younger that I had to do my best for her.
Yes, it makes sense.
And so whenever I was in school or I did something well, I made sure that she was the one I thanked or was grateful for, because she's the one that worked really hard to give me all that. No matter what it was, I was like, "Thank you for my grandmother, blah, blah, blah." Yeah. It was just, everything was for her, to her, about her, because I knew she was working really hard with what little she had. But do you have a good memory?
So I have 2 grandmothers that I grew up with. So the first one will be my ama. My ama, and I've said it before when I spoke at her when she passed, and my fondest and greatest memory is when she would walk us to school. She would walk, and I didn't live too far from the middle school. It was Cooper Middle School. And every morning she would wake up, she would make breakfast. And I remember it was just me. I don't remember my sisters ever being with me. So I don't know if because they were still in elementary school and I was going to middle school, maybe that's why. But every morning she would walk me to the corner of Trinity and Laredo. She would right there. It was a bakery at that time. It's not a bakery now. She would wait there. She would watch me go all the way to school. And every time, it's like this soccer field. Every time I would turn back, she would still be standing there. And I would turn back till I couldn't see her anymore. And then she would walk back home. But I always had breakfast in hand.
Which was like a good two
I would say,
long.
Because you kind of cross over, there's a bridge, you kind of do that number walk.
That's what I was like.
So it's like maybe a mile, if anything.
No, not a mile.
No?
No, that's not a mile.
Okay.
That's a good quarter.
Quarter mile.
A quarter mile, but no, but a mile.
I don't know.
You wouldn't be able to see her at all.
So then I started, so she walked, I can't remember how long this went on. Maybe it was 1 full school year, maybe it was 2, maybe at the most. But I remember that one is my fondest memory, is my grandma walking me to school, or my mom walking me to school every morning and making sure that I made it to school. With my other grandmother, this is my dad's mom. She would pick me from the time that I could remember, probably when I was either a baby or a year old, all the way till I was 12. She would pick me up every other weekend. She would try to pick me up on, they would try to go back and forth as far as holidays. Every time she would pick me up, we would be, and my grandmother never, ever took the highway, ever. So this is why I know the back streets of the West Side, because she always took different routes, different ways. She lived in it. She's still, she's since passed, but her home is still in the same place. She's never moved. So she always just took different routes. I don't know. Maybe she just wanted to take a longer drive so this is where I was like, I know I can learn to drive because she drives.
Yeah.
Because my grandmother, my mom didn't drive at all. So, my mom drives now, but at the time that I was growing up, she didn't. So that's why we were always on the bus. But with her, it was all the long scenic routes that we took to and from my house to her house. I was the only grandchild at the time I want to say I was the only one that would go over and stay. So there wasn't always a lot to do. Another memory is because my uncles used to live right next door, and there was 6 of them. Not all of them lived there at the same time, but it was a constant rotation with them. But it was when we sat at the table. We sat at the table, and my grandma would at times, try to make dinner for everybody because they're grown men, so they should make their own food. But anywho,
yeah,
we would sit at the table, and they knew to take their hats off, sit, pray, and then we would eat. And I was like, oh my God, my grandpa would sit at the head of the table, obviously, and then my grandmother, and then everybody around them. So,
oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, so that's another one
that's a really good memory.
Yeah, and I remember that my grandpa was very stern, so it was always like, take off your hat, sit down, pray, and let's move on. So yeah. So those are the memories I have of my grandmother. Of course, I have many more, but I don't want to get too much into it.
No, I've had many in my life, but because another woman because it's a Mother's Day special, right?
Yeah.
And another woman who meant the world to me was my tia.
Yes.
My tia Juana. And my tia Juana, or her name was Estela, but my tia Juana, we called her Juana. And so my tia Juana she was one of the wildest ones. She was crazy. Yes. She was, you were going to hear her a mile away when she laughed. I was like, oh.
That's where you get your laugh? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know who, but it was annoying. But to say the least, it was nice. I remember one time, she was taking care of us, and we were just normal, regular, schmegular day. But what I liked about her is that, like in the mornings, she would take us to school. And I have somewhere where we're older, but my favorite moments was in the mornings, she would just get us. Mm-hmm. She didn't live with us at the time, but she would come all the way to the house and walk us to school. And it wasn't...
That's
she didn't
so
do that,
crazy.
She didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just didn't do it all the time. But when we were a specific age and we were young, she had her boyfriends and whatever, but she would make her way to our house, come get us, and walk us to school. And it was the most beautiful moments that I remember just watching her big ass, wobble her way. She was a big woman at the time.
Really?
She was a heavy set woman. And of course, when she got later, she had diabetes and so forth. So she was really small, but she was a heavy set woman who walked, didn't give a who you were, she didn't care that she was a big girl. I think she saw herself as a size 2, honey. But I loved just watching her, and hearing her laugh and hurry up, get over here. Come on, hurry up. And yelling. She didn't care that people were watching, did he? How many times am I going to tell you, ven pa acá? And I was like, oh my God, she's embarrassing with my big backpack and just trying to, and not me. She wasn't talking to me.
Oh, okay.
I was up in that, honey. Not me. I was the good kid-ish. I was always by pace with her. It was the other siblings.
Fast. I can't.
Yeah, it was the other siblings that were they were all the way in the back. I was always like, hurry up.
Gotta wait for you.
Yeah. But I remember she was, when we were, because we did live together at one point, and it was just me and her husband at the time, who I hated. Anyway. But when it was just me and her, I remember I would just go to her room and I would sit down with her and just talk. Because back then you either had TV or no TV, right?
Yeah, you played outside.
Yeah, or you played it outside. And we would just talk.
Pendejadas.
Mijo, yes, I tengo este meeting and oh, sí, es que necesito que hacer. And she was just talking about her day, and it almost felt like we were each other's best friend for just like a few years.
Yeah.
But that was that same bitch that that told my family, outed me.
Oh, okay.
But even so, I never held a grudge with her. She was just always so loving and so funny and so charismatic that it didn't matter what she did, because she never did anything to us like that. She was just real crazy. But what are you going to show us?
So I'm going to show my village. My village of, and these are my sisters and my mom's in the middle.
Can you get closer?
And the pink shirt.
Way closer.
I know, but wait, there's a glare. So
Oh.
So this is my village that helped me raise my kids.
So who's who?
So I'm going to pull back because I can't really see. So this is my younger sister, Emily. That's my sister, Tiffany. My mom's in the pink shirt. And obviously I'm in my fluffy shirt. And then my sister, Pauline. So these at one time or another helped me with my kids. So I just wanted to show a picture quick so that way you guys have faces to the names.
This was my mom and my tia Juana that I was referring to. They were sisters to the end, honey. And they grew up, they're really cousins in reality. So this is my tia Juana and this is my mom. You can tell, right? Because we have the same, like, big cheeks and...
So that's your tia in the black shirt?
This is my tia and this is my mom.
This one is my ama. This is the one that would wait at the corner and watch me go to school. I was raised by her. I carry her last name. Won't say what it is, but this is my wonderful ama. They're very creative.
Oh, that's pretty. And this is the same tia. You could tell that she was a little heavy set here. This is when we were younger. And this is my grandmother. I didn't know I had this photo.
I didn't know you have photos. Oh my God, I'm excited.
So this is my grandmother who...
They almost look, your mom and grandmother
look the same.
Wow.
Well, she only had one. But look, you could tell I come from a plus size family, honey. These big women, honey. But I feel like that's because I always get asked.
This is my grandma, the one that would pick me up every weekend, almost every other holiday. And so yeah, this is the two ladies that I grew up with. I hope it's not a great picture, but yeah, it's the glare. And it's the black and white. But yeah, those are the ladies in my life.
In our lives.
Yeah, that shaped me and helped me, my village, so on and so forth. So yeah.
I think that's the whole episode of this all is that we sometimes don't get to show pictures, and we sometimes don't get to showcase the people that paved our way and helped us live who we are and helped us guide us to be adults and how we have our morals and ethics. And I just want to say my videos, as I make them, they're dedicated to women, about women, and for women, because that's all I know. And I constantly say that, and I know that sometimes my videos seem offensive, but the reality is I'm not trying to offend a woman. A man, I don't care.
Me vale.
Me vale. But a woman, I always want you to see it from the perspective of, even if you don't like it, it showcases sometimes your happiness, your insecurities, but it shows sometimes the good and the bad of it all. But I always dedicate it to say, you have a friend here, and I love you. And at the end of the day, no matter how many mistakes you make, we get through them, and we're okay after that. I say we because I feel like surrounded by nothing but women. I get to say I'm co-woman.
Pro-woman.
Yes, pro-woman. And so to me, I just want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for watching and sharing. Follow me on Instagram at Jose Najuan, TikTok Jose Najuan, Facebook Jose Najuan, everything. So with that said, happy Mother's Day on behalf of us. It says happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day from both of us. We love you. Thank you, mommies. Dame un besito.
Bye.